Today I'm out with the Minelab Manticore, and this video is all about understanding the 2D identification screen. Now this isn't a gimmick, you know, this is a part of the integral workings of the Minelab Manticore, and it works in harmony with the multi-IQ system. So let's get going, dig a few targets and see what this 2D screen's telling us. Here we go. Do you know what, it's so good to get this Manticore back in my hands. I've not spent a lot of time with it recently. Been busy, bruv. First thing, iron. Can you see we've got a number with a red line under it? Clearly iron. And we've got the horseshoe on. If we turn the horseshoe off, let it time out for a minute and see what happens with the horseshoe off. We get no sound, we get no number, but we do get the cursor. So if you want to see the numbers, have the horseshoe on. As you notice there, the target ID numbers didn't appear with the horseshoe on when the machine was confident it's iron. But have a look at this next trick, because the iron tricks the discrimination and it breaks through, given the target ID number on iron. We've got a good audio tone, but we've got an iron tone. So if I turn the horseshoe off, you dig that, wouldn't you, based on the sound. Horseshoe on. So what do I think? I think it's a nasty piece of iron. Because of that smudge, it's going right up into ferrous. Not sure a good target would do that. Oh, this is a deep one. 27-degree heat. It's hotter than a flipping Dalek's fart. And you're making me dig iron targets just to prove a point. Why am I doing this? And that's what it is. It's an odd shaped piece of iron. Proper lump as well. Okay. How did you call that? Did you call it iron or worth digging? Higher sensitivity levels can generate a lot of false numbers and false target traces. I've got mine at about 24, which is right for this field, but very often I use it at around 18. So a sensible sensitivity setting will make the meter operate more stable. And the very last thing, when you get a target, make sure you sweep quite confidently over the top of it, not too slow, so the machine can then make a proper analysis of what's going on. So we have the top ferrous bar for smaller iron and the bottom ferrous bar for the bigger, trickier iron, but this isn't always the case. So how do you set these top and bottom ferrous bars? Well, if you ask 10 people, you'll get 10 different answers, so it's just a case of your personal preferences and finding out what works for you. So I've lowered this down a couple of notches and I've raised that up a couple of notches, but what I have done, I've left this section here open because very small targets such as Roman fibulas in difficult iron contaminated soil can be dragged down. So I've opened this up just to give the machine the best chance on those real low conductors. Interesting one here. So we're sitting on top of the iron, the lower ferrous bars, but it's smudging up. Would you dig that? Let's have another look at it. Now, for me, I think that is a potentially deep target. Could be non-ferrous because it's got the signal with it and it's got the quietness, it's got that whisper. So that's certainly a signal worth investigating. Personally, that's what I think. You may think different, so let's have a look. And that's what it is. It is non-ferrous. A small, possibly a musket ball. So I think we need to remember that the machine is doing the mathematics. It can't add the human element, and that's where we come in. We add the human element. So once the machine's done the calculations, it's up to us to make the final decision. But I must say, using the Manticore and trusting the screen does make that final decision just a little bit easier. A little quiet one, look. So it's smudging upwards. Now it's smudging downwards. So why would we get that smudge but a perfectly good audio? Well, there's other things that come into play. It could be the ground. It could be the target itself is in its various states of deterioration. It could be a piece of foil, couldn't it, all falling apart? We're not going to know until we have a look at it, but it could also be a small coin on edge because the machine's not getting all the information and the ground is started to consume the target, and that's where we're getting that smudge from. So let's have a look. A tiny little 177 air rifle pellet. So the smudge, I'm guessing, was the ground contamination dragging the signal up and down. So the machine does the mathematics. It's up to you guys to put the finishing touches to it based on what the machine's telling you. But here's a good test. A coin. If it's face onto the coil, it gives a really good signal. But if we start to turn it so it no longer becomes a coin to the machine, let's have a look and see what the target trace does then. The perfect signal. So let's move it flat. Turning it round again. Big difference, isn't there, in the target IDs, because the machine is trying to work out, is it round, is it square, is it ferrous, is it non-ferrous? So you can see there that the machine has got a lot of processing challenges to take on, and this can be reflected in the different sounds. So this is where the human element comes in. You can see the confidence levels. Where's the confidence sitting? And if the confidence levels are sitting around here, never mind the smudge, but that's where your nucleus is. That's the digger. Now here's an interesting one. This is a little top of a rusty fibula. It's not great condition, but it's made out of different metals. There's iron in it, and I should imagine there's copper in it, and all different sorts. So let's have a look, see what this sounds like. Turning it round, different orientation. That's pointing the iron end towards it. So although you've got the smudge, it's still got the confident area in the middle. Now this is a coin, but it's a really low quality coin. It feels quite rough. I think there's some poor metal in it. I don't even know what it is actually. So let's see what that sounds like. Sounds good, doesn't it? But now as we get deeper, we're getting the smudge, aren't we, on the deepness. And that's just going out of range now. But can you see the confidence is still in the middle? A bottle cap. Now these are typically ferrous. Again, the confidence level is at the bottom and the smudge is going up. So it's really a case of just working out where that confidence level sits, that confident dot, and everything from that confident area will gravitate outwards. So if the confident area is in the ferrous, that's when I'd leave a target. If a confident area is somewhere along the non-ferrous, then it's worth a dig. When's this 2D target ID really gonna pay off? Well, I think if you're searching somewhere where you've got unwanted targets all falling within the same target ID range and the same signature, or wanted targets all falling within that range. So then you can build up a mental pattern of what to dig and what not to dig. But there's certainly a lot to learn about this 2D screen, isn't there? Because grounds change, signal orientation changes, it all throws it all out of proportion really when you think about it on the grand scale. Quite confidently on the top line, isn't it? And then we've got the smudge coming down, but the confidence is in the top, not the middle. So I think we'll agree on that one. If you get a suspicious signal, always make sure you reassess the situation when you're confident you're over the top of the target. This may mean you need the pinpoint button just to get directly on top of it, or just have a little scan around the area. Here's an example. Let's move around the area. That's a bit better, isn't it? See, we're off centre now. We've got the iron number coming up. Get over the top of it. I can see it. That was a coin on edge. I'm going to bring the camera around just so you can see that. Can you see it just there? Coin on edge, and that's where we were getting that dud-dud sound from. It's an old penny. Nasty ground though, isn't it? Heavy going. Brilliant. And of course the tones come into play quite a lot when you're digging low conductive or deep targets. If I get a low tone and it's got a really bad target trace on it, or not even a brilliant signal, I kind of give it the benefit of the doubt, because it is a low tone, meaning it's a low conductive target, so it will be easily contaminated by the ground or nearby iron. So high tones do tend to take care of themselves quite a lot, you know, because they're a bigger target, they're a higher conductor. It's those low tones you've really got to investigate. Interesting that. So okay, if you want to see some more Minelab videos, don't forget I've got an extensive Minelab playlist. And if you want to find some great bargains, I will put a link in the description below. It's, where's our confident area, guys? Just above the non-ferrous. It's not 100% in the ferrous top bar, is it? So it's not 100% confident in the top ferrous bar, and there's nothing in the bottom ferrous bar, but it's all sort of clouding around the middle. But what have we got? We've got a strong iron tone and we've got a loud audio. So I think if that was something good, being that loud, it'll come through nice and clean. We wouldn't have this fringe buzz. So I'm kind of guessing that's a horrible piece of iron, or maybe a big target with iron involved with it. You know, part of it is iron, but I don't really think it's something we want to go digging. But let's have a look. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. That's what it is. It's a piece of a tractor, obviously, and an horrible piece of iron, actually. Lots and lots of different shapes to it. That's an interesting one. Perhaps go back and watch that signal again and see what we potentially missed. But I think this is a classic case of the machine getting the mathematics wrong and the human element guessing it right. Right number. Hear the iron buzz with it though. I think that's a target, 2 targets together. Because the confidence is laying in that centre bar, the non-ferrous bar. Now we've got 2 dots. There is iron in the hole because we've got a confident dot on the non-ferrous line and another dot in the ferrous line, and this is the beauty of that 2D screen. So let's take a look. I could be wrong. And there it is, look. It's a coin of some sort. No, it's not, it's a button. It's a button, look. Now buttons are funny things because typically they've got an iron loop on them, so you've got ferrous and non-ferrous together, but I don't really think that was what was giving us that iron tone. I think there's probably some iron in the hole, so let's just check that and move on. There's iron next to it. 2 factors I'd say. There was iron near the target, and also because it was deep, that soil contamination started to creep in. Well, that's it guys, thank you very much for watching. What have you learned? Probably nothing, but we've had fun, haven't we? So if you want to buy some Minelab stuff at a really cool price, I'll put the link in the descriptions below, and I will see you next Friday. Bye for now.